Hi guys, welcome back. Great to see you again. So we left off with Liar and Spy. Remember when Safer and George kind of had a falling out. George was really upset that he found out that Safer was kind of a liar. But then he moved on in the last chapter. In our Zoom meeting, we talked about George going back to school and stressing about that taste test with the senses. And he was going to be afraid that he would be the only one to not taste it, and then there's just give Dallas and other guys another reason to make fun of him. So they decided to make kind of a club. Remember, they had blue dots on their hands, and they kind of all decided to say, okay, we have a plan. And during that taste test, they all pretended to not taste anything. The teacher said, normally, about 10 to 20% of people might not have this bitter taste. Well, it turns out that it was more than half the class sat and pretended they did not taste it. But it turned out that George actually tasted it. So they kind of played a trick. They kind of had some camaraderie, and George felt, pretty confident. He felt really good after that, to see his friends kind of come through for him, especially Bob English end up being, a good guy to him. So we're going to continue. We're going to read the next chapter called Knock Knock together right here. And then when we get together again, maybe we can even finish up this bad boy. We will see what we can do. So, all right, we're going to continue reading with Knock Knock. When I get to our building, Safer is sitting cross-legged in one of the lobby chairs reading a book. He doesn't look up when I come in, so I pretend not to see him. I go over to the elevator and I push the button. Hi, I hear him say. I turn around. Hey. I was thinking, I never did tell you. Tell me what? About my name. I shrug. Whatever, it's none of my business. He unfolds his legs and stands up. But I want to. I looked him in the eye. So tell me. You remember Pigeon's story and Candy's story and my parents' whole weird name thing? Yeah, I remember. You guys named yourselves. Well, not really. It's more like they named us after getting to know us a little bit. He's quiet. It's not the same thing. Look, you don't have to tell me the story, I say, punching the elevator button a few more times. No, I really do. The elevator comes and I look at Safer. So the first part is that when I was a kid, I worried a lot. About what? About a lot of things. Like what? Bugs, Safer said. Lightning, elevators, strangers, airplanes, green food, buses, germs, blood, losing teeth. Okay, I get the idea. And most of all, he says, talking fast, I was afraid of the dark. So bedtime was like this really big deal for me. I always made my mom read me like 17 books and sing like 5 songs and bring me 3 glasses of water. And after all of that, she would say goodnight, and she always said it the same exact way. Yeah? He takes a long breath. Yeah. She'd say, good night, sleep tight, you're safe. And then she'd go in the other room to read or whatever, and a minute later, I'd call out, Safer, Safer! Oh. Yeah, so that's the story. Safer looks exhausted. Now, you know the truth. Now I know what truth. That I'm afraid of everything. I don't say anything. And I've always been. Safer? Yeah. Is that the real reason you don't take the elevator, because you're afraid of it? Yeah, I've been scared of elevators forever. And that's why you don't like to go out much, right? Like to DeMarco's even? Yeah, I'm kind of an inside person mostly. I mean, I do go outside when I have to. I just prefer to stay inside. Don't your parents make you go out? My parents are a little unusual, George. My mom is into table manners, but other than that, they're not very bossy. I push the elevator button again and the door slides open in front of us. Safer steps back. I should probably go, I say, and I get in and watch the door close. When the elevator opens on the 3rd floor, Safer is waiting there. I go to our door and I slide the key into the lock, smooth as silk. Safer? Yeah? Is there anything you aren't afraid of? Yeah, a few things, he smiles. I'm not afraid of dogs. Or dog slobber, I say. Or avian flu. Right, he looks at me. What about you, George? Is there anything that you're afraid of, or like what you worry about? What do you mean? What I said. Are you afraid of anything? Am I afraid of anything, I think? Yes, I'm afraid of something. There's one thing I'm horribly, disgustingly afraid of, I think. Something that I could never heal. Something that would never stop hurting no matter how old I get or how big my picture is. I have to go. I tell Safer. Wait, Safer says. I know about your... I shut the door on him and I walk straight into the bathroom where I lie on the floor. I hike up the back of my shirt so that I can feel the cold tile against my skin, and I stare at the light fixtures on the ceiling. There is a way in which I don't exist while I'm lying there. My brain thinks about the cold and the light and nothing else, and not one person on the planet knows exactly where I am. There's a knock at the door. Not the apartment door, the bathroom door. I know you're in there, Safer says. I stay where I am. Don't you know you aren't supposed to barge in through people's front doors? Of course he doesn't. This is Safer I'm talking to. Sorry, my dog just knocked over my thing. Thanks, Lola. I didn't come through the door, he tells me. I came through the window. Figures. I went through Dan's apartment, upstairs I mean, out on his fire escape and down the flight into your bedroom. That's how I left you that note under your pillow that first night. Dan, I say. Don't you mean Mr. X, the mysterious killer who wears black and has sharp knives and probably carts dead people around in suitcases and doesn't own a baseball cap with fish on it or have a dog? Yeah, I'm his dog walker. I have his keys because I was watering his plants and getting his mail while he was out of town. Good to know, I say, and I stare at the bathroom ceiling. I'm sorry, Safer said. I thought we were having fun. Because it's fun to be lied to? It was just a game, George. It was your idea, kind of. My idea? The Spy Club. You left a note on that old sign in the basement. Pigeon put it up there like 5 years ago. He always had these weird ideas for clubs. He used to anyway. But the Spy Club never really took off until you came. I went down to put some laundry in the dryer and there was the note. Out of nowhere. Remember, you wrote, what time? That was my dad. Yeah, but I didn't know that. And then you came to the meeting and I was glad. Well, I'm happy I could help you out by being your idiot. I never thought you were an idiot, George. I thought you kind of knew. The whole body in a suitcase thing. I stole that from an old Alfred Hitchcock movie I saw with my dad. My dad's really into movies. Thanks for cluing me in. Better late than never, I guess. There's no sound for a minute and I wonder whether he's left. But then he says, my mom says if your dad has to go to the hospital, you can come over for dinner if you want. Just so you know, to be with people. People who lie. Okay, should I just go? Feel free to use the front door, I say. Safer has completely messed up the non-existent feeling I was going for. After I hear the front door close, I head out to the television for some America's Funniest Home Videos. I go to the refrigerator for a string cheese and I see Dad's note next to the post-it with the telephone number at the hospital. Visiting Mom, call myself for dinner plan. I'm staring at the note for a weirdly long time and then I get this taste in my mouth. A horrible taste of something much worse than Mr. Landau's chemical ribbon. I drink a ton of water from the kitchen faucet, but the taste won't go away. I unwrap a string cheese, but I can't even eat it. I hold on to it to watch my videos, which aren't that funny anymore, because I've seen them so many times. I know exactly who's about to roll down a hill, or fall off a slide, or get scared by a fake rat and start screaming. I go to the machine and push the eject button. Instantly, all of it's gone. The clapping, the laughing, the host who smiles literally every second of the show. The DVD slides toward me, and I take it with 2 fingers and stare at Mom's writing. It says, "Smile, Pickle, I love you." The taste is still in my mouth. I know what it is. It's the taste of pretending. It's a taste of lying. It's a taste of a game that's over. The muscle at the back of my throat flexes again and again, and I can't stop it. For a second, I think I might throw up, and then I realize, no, I'm gonna cry. I cry on my bed that is Dad's old bed. At first, the taste in my mouth gets even worse. It's something thick and awful, like tar inside my mouth and down my throat and up my nose. I cry right through it because I have no choice, and it's like choking. But then the taste changes. Something is washing the tar away. I'm disappearing into the crying, and I'm trying to stay that way because it feels so good to disappear, to just lie there on the bed, letting my body take over and get rid of every part of that awful taste. I don't want to think. I don't want to hear my thoughts. Instead, I'm feeding myself images, and they're sadder and sadder. Mom kissing me and pushing my hair out of my eyes. Dallas Llewellyn's foot in my stomach. Mom's suitcase by the front door, and Dad running back to the bedroom for her pillow. The look on his face with that pillow tucked under his arm. And it's like striking match after match, each one bursting into flame and sending a sharp smell straight up my nose and into my brain. The pictures are making me heave and rock until they slow down, and then I can't come up with any more pictures, and the taste of my crying is light and clear, and it makes me think of the ocean and Cape Cod. I want to keep it going and going. Just keep going, I tell myself, but those 2 words, that one half thought breaks the spell, and I can tell that it'll be over soon, and then I'm suddenly just me again. For the first moment since I stood in front of the television wondering if I was going to puke or what. Mom fainted in the kitchen of our house 2 weeks ago while she was packing our cookbooks for the move. Her head made a horrible sound when it hit the floor. Dad ran over and yelled, "She's burning up, she's burning up," like he was shouting it to the whole house. Mom woke up and told Dad to stay calm. No ambulance, she told him. We're going to go drive to the hospital. She needs some things and she wanted a pillow, her own pillow. She was saying all the things a mom would say in a shaky voice that sounded like anything but Mom. At the hospital, they took her away, and the nurses brought us into a special room to wait. Then Dad disappeared, and I waited until nurses were buzzing around. Every time one of them came near, I thought it was bad news, and my heart started bursting the way it had up through my throat. But it was always a paper cup of ice and ginger ale, or a little bag of pretzels dropped in my lap with a wink, and no answer to any of the questions I had, and was too scared to ask. Finally, Dad showed up to tell me the doctor said Mom had a very serious infection. She had caught it from one of her patients in intensive care. They had medicine for it, Dad said, but the medicine was at the hospital, and it was the kind that went from the bag through a tube into the bloodstream. So Mom would have to stay in the hospital. They needed to watch her for a week or 2. Mom would have told me the actual name of it. I remember thinking she would have said something like, "George, I have the XZ bacteria," or "I have the P virus strain. It's a bad one, but there's medicine for it, and I won't die on you." But no one said any of that. "It won't be so bad," Dad told me. "It'll just be like when she's working a lot of double shifts, and before we know it, she'll be back home, okay?" I nodded, squeezing 3 little bags of pretzels. A nurse came in and said I could see Mom now. She was in her own room right down the hall. We started walking, and that's when I freaked out. I lie on the bed holding the string cheese and the DVD with Mom's words, just breathing. Then I go to the bathroom and I wash my face. I look at myself in the mirror, but I don't ask myself to smile. I get the phone to call Dad. I don't need to look at the note on the fridge because I memorized the number all the times I looked at it and decided not to call. Dad answers and I say, "I want to come with you tomorrow. I'm spending a day with you guys at the hospital." There's a silence. "Really?" he said. "That's wonderful. I'll call the school in the morning and we'll go first thing." "Can I talk to her? Can she talk?" "Of course she can talk. She's doing great, but she's sleeping now. Let me see if I can get her up." "No, don't wake her up. It's okay." "George, how was school?" "Better," I tell him. It was much better. Dad says he'll leave the hospital in an hour and we'll have dinner together, but I tell him to stay where he is, that I'm just fine. He says he'll be home before bedtime. I think about making some eggs, but the next thing I know, my feet are taking me out the door and up the stairs, and my hand is pushing on Safer's doorbell. I hear footsteps. "Hello?" It's Safer's voice through the door. "Where's Cindy?" I ask. "Did your doorman go on vacation?" "Did I hear a knock knock?" "Safer, I know it's you." But he just says it again. "Did I hear a knock knock?" Fine, I'll play, I thought. "Knock knock," I say. "Who's there?" Safer says. "Interrupting cow." And I start sucking in air because I'm going to blow Safer away. When he starts to say, "Interrupting cow who?" I'm going to give him the longest, loudest moo in the history of the planet. But Safer doesn't say "Interrupting cow who." Instead, the door opens and there he is. "Come in, Interrupting cow," he says. "Come on in."